Ba ba bum. Bum 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 ba ba bum. Ba ba bum. Ba ba bum. Oh, you know what though, Izzy? Now that I've had YouTube Premium, I don't think I could ever go back to not having YouTube Premium. I'm obsessed with it. I can't imagine life without it now. That would be terrible. The ads suck so much worse now. Aw, I'm sorry. You know, it's rough out there for all of us right now. But hi, hello. Happy Sunday. Here we are. Here we are. Ready for some cozy games. Boo, almost time to go back to work. Yeah. Not me. Hee hee hee. Hee hee hee. I have another week off. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you gigolo. Jerk. Hey, 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 hey. That's not nice. Don't call me a jerk. You're a jerk. So there. Ah, just kidding. You're not a jerk, Wambat. You're only a jerk when you're stealing everybody's food in Castle Crashers. Fine, we're both jerk. No, I'm not a jerk. I'm nice. I'm the good one. I'm the good one. Look at this face. Look. Look at this face. See? No jerk. Only cute. No jerk here. Only cute. See? 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 Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh, I know. Yawn's incoming. Coffee. I also have water. I should probably drink some water. Oh, well, what good. So what are you guys all up to today for Sunday? What's on the agenda? Also, Wambit, I don't know if you saw, but we've changed some things. Like, for example, the name of the channel points. Not a lot. I was doom scrolling for a bit. I think I'm gonna go play Sims 4 for a while. Nice. Get your Sims on. I've been thinking about playing Sims lately. I haven't played it in a while. I was doing those speed builds. He's ran over the pizza. Oh, that's okay. Look at the new name for our channel points. They're not Wookie cookies anymore. I played with the new stairs. I haven't built with them yet. I wanted to, though. You saw the announcement? Yeah, but did you see what they were? I didn't say what they were in the announcement. I thought you would like the name of the channel points. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you like my batteries? I made them myself. I'm a pixel art genius now. I'm so talented. Oh, excuse me. Oh gosh, it happened again. Oh no. My nose. It's tickly. Now you have plenty of batteries to look. Yes. All the batteries. I'm trying to just get away from leaning on Star Wars stuff. Because, you know, I want to make my branding more cohesive with my actual, like, VTuber lore, which I'm working on right now. So, I don't want to be so reliant on somebody else's brand. You know what I mean? Not being mean here, I legit love that your tracking is good enough that your avatar also sneezes accurately to it. Yeah, it's really good. I just wish I could figure out the lip syncing stuff. Because even when I turn on VBridger, I feel like it still doesn't work right. So I don't know if I broke something somewhere. I don't know. Honestly, there's this new model that came out that I really want. It's another customizable model. And I really want it. But it's kind of expensive. I'll show you guys. It's by a model creator who's actually pretty well known too. They did a model for Shy Lily before, and now they have a customizable one, and I'm like super interested in it. Yeah, actually a lot of the pre-made customizable ones are set up for VBridger. Like they're rigged for VBridger. My only issue with VBridger is that it only works through Wi-Fi. So I can't, and then it's kind of laggy, where I'd rather just be hardwired and not have to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like right now I have my phone plugged into my computer for my tracking. But if I use VBridger, I have to unplug it and use the Wi-Fi connection because VBridger doesn't work through USB. So I don't really use it for that. And then also I didn't really notice a difference because it still catches my cheek puff and my tongue. I just don't get the funnel effect with the mouth because I'm not using VBridger. Yeah, I don't know why Vtuber doesn't work through a USB connection. It just doesn't, and they have no intention of adding it. So I'm not sure what the technicalities there are, why it doesn't work. Hi, Courtney! So this is the model I want right here. It's by Twin Tails, who's actually a pretty well-known model maker in the VTuber community. They did Shy Lily's model a couple years ago. But this is their customizable model. And I really want it. Like, really want it. This will probably be my next model I get. But as you can see, it's a lot of money that I don't have. I need to get good with drawing so I can get my concept art made, so I can get my model update to my ideal look and setup. Yeah. They're coming out. Wait a minute, there's a lot more male or like masculine customizable models like this that are coming out too. Just so you know. And then you can hire an artist to edit the textures for you. And so instead of spending, a couple thousand on a model, you could spend maybe like a couple hundred at tops and have something that's like pretty much you. You know what I mean? That's really cute, right? It is really cute. And the rigging's really well done. Here's the video. But it's really customizable. And I asked the artist and the creator of this model, and they said that the bunny ears are rigged to the eyebrows, which is cool. Because right now, my ears are not rigged to any of my facial expressions. It's just motion, like physics. So it'd be really cool if the ears are like attached to eyebrow movement. I thought you have to go through the pre-made person or get their permission first before making those kinds of edits. Nope. Almost all of these will allow you to adjust the textures. And then some of them, like my Suiika model that I'm using right now, for example, she has a special list of artists that she's allowing to do texture commissions. But there's a lot of people out there doing commissions for texture editing for these models. Most of the creators don't care. As long as you're buying the model, they don't care. Editing the textures is actually really not hard. It just helps if you're an artist, you know how the hell how to draw so that it looks nice. Because you could do everything from like the shading and all that stuff, Like I paid somebody to do the textures on my model. Except for the hair, I did that myself. But they like drew on the earrings on the ears for me and the goggles and did my outfit. The only thing they didn't do was the shoes. But yeah, you just have to read the terms and conditions of the model you buy and see if the creator allows for edits and stuff. Usually they do. Usually they don't care. They want you to edit the textures. So, yeah, so it just depends on the model and the terms and conditions and stuff, but most of them are really chill about that kind of thing. Yeah, the one I was wanting to commission once, I really got into it, was Buncha. %100% custom, yeah. You're looking at like After art and rigging, you're looking at like a few $1,000s for a custom model. Just so you know. Like, I wouldn't be dropping that kind of money if I were you for a while. I mean, of course, unless you really want to. Just like, I've been streaming on and off for like 5 years. And I still don't see a reason for me to get a fully customized, not yet anyway. Maybe if I was closer to like hitting partner or something, then I would consider it. I probably have the money at that point. That's why I'm aiming to start out as a PNG tuber. I can draw a headshot myself and work up from there. Yeah. And PNG tubers have come a really long way. Holy cow. So that's how I started in VTubing too. I was a PNG tuber. And it was like really basic stuff. Now they have all these new PNG tuber programs where they're like really realistic looking. like they're almost 2D stuff. Like live 2D stuff. It's really close. It's really great. So now people are charging. It grows. Hi, Red. So now there's artists who are out there charging for these more advanced PNG tubers. They're charging like between $200 and $300. Where it used to be like you could get a PNG tuber for like $80 or $100, But now that they're more advanced, it requires more like layer cutting. So it's a lot more work. So they've gone up in price a lot. But you can still find really cute basic PNG tubers for not a ton of money. Ow! I'm surprised you didn't want to redeem the chat uppies. But yeah, so the Twin Tails model is the next one I really want to get. I just need $140 so I can get it. I've been playing around with a couple of apps that use like 4 different poses and basically just make a glorified GIF out of them based on your camera tracking. Yeah. Yep. That's basically all it is. You want uppies? Oh. Maybe if I squishy, you're squishy. I'm getting my taxes done, so maybe if I get some tax money, maybe I'll get the new model. That'd be cool. That'd be a good thing to spend it on. Yeah, uppies and batteries, yes. And Les is working on new badges, new subscriber badges for us. They're going to be really cute. I'm excited for those. Yeah. All right, you guys ready for some Fields of Mistria? Actually, I'm surprised Les isn't here right now. She likes to watch Fields of Mistria. Let's change our music. We need something more chill. 8-bit lo-fi. Let's go. The funny thing about this playlist is sometimes there's like music from other games in it. So it's really funny when like it'll be like Stardew Valley music, but we're playing Fields of Mistria. All right. We're almost done with summer. It's gonna be fall. I can't wait to see what fall looks like. At Micro Center, trying to get my sister's new laptop situation resolved. Oh, did she get a new laptop? So she got a new laptop and you got a new computer? Nice. That's cool. Any birthdays? It's Nora's birthday. I wonder what Nora likes. Nora works at the general store. I got a new one, just like the keyboard. Got a new and more expensive one, and it's dented to hell and has a drink circle on it. What? Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Wait. You got a brand new cool computer, and it has a dent? And a stain? Like on the case? Are you right? Are you gonna? Where did you buy it? You bought it from Micro Center, didn't you? Open box new. Oh, okay. Damn. I mean, I'm sure you got a hell of a deal on it, though, right? It was still $3,000? Red. My whole setup didn't cost that much money. Even if I did have to buy a graphics card, it wouldn't have costed that much. Well, that was before the price of RAM went up, though, too. She's a laptop girl. Your shit. Oh, I thought you were talking about your computer. You're talking about your sister's laptop. Okay. Wait, she paid $3,000 for a laptop? Open box? That's crazy. Never in my fucking life would I pay that much for an open box laptop. Is it like Alienware or something? Why is it so expensive? What's the deal? A $3,000 laptop open box is crazy. Top of the end MS. Oh, so basically Alienware. They're one of their top competitors anyway, besides like Asus. Ow! Hi, Rosa. Drink something, you got it. I got you. Drink. Alienware, yeah, it is now. Which I would argue makes them less good. I mean, I'll fight. That's a hill I will die on. No, you beautiful. You're beautiful. Pet the cat. Let's take, we gotta take Nora something. I'm gonna take her like a flower or something, I guess. I don't know. Ruby Star rank! Congratulations! Mistria has reached the Ruby Star town rank. This is the highest our rank has ever been. Thank you for believing in this little town of ours. I've included a reward we received straight from the capital for you. 3 iron ingots! Let's go. Yeah, there's a lot of grass growing on my farm. Let's take Nora a tulip for her birthday. Put these in here. Let's go let out the cows. We gotta get our hearts up with the cows. They don't actually eat this, huh? It's just for looks. Pet. Pet. Yeah. You guys wanna come outside? I think they only eat the hay if they're inside all day. Oh, it's like on rainy days. Okay. Look at them eating the grass. They're so cute. We gotta get them to 2 hearts so that we can make a cow baby. Look at you. You're always wandering off. Look at him go. Where are you going? Okay. I thought he was gonna run away. That makes sense though, Courtney. Okay, we need to... He's out of here! I know, he's zooming! I thought he loved me. A horn dropped by a bull used in a variety of crafting recipes. Oh. Alright, let me get my crops watered. Whoops. Also, there's cone! Cone and maters. This will probably be the last time we can harvest those. Actually, no, we might be able to get one more. I think it's like every 3 days. These melons are gonna be big bucks, you guys. We're gonna make all the money. All the money. We'll sell some of our cone. We'll sell 2. And some maters. And we'll put the rest in here. And we'll put this horn in the chest of crafting stuff. There we go. And then there was a quest we were working on that I can't remember. The bridge, the beach, that's what it was. We need 300 wood and 150 stone. That's what it was. Nope, it was in here. We have 18 wood. Oh no. We're gonna have to do a lot of tree chopping again. We have the stone and the fiber. Oh, we don't have the fiber. What was it we needed? 25? $50. Oh, we don't have the fiber. Well, that's easy. Let's go find Nora first, though, and give her her flower. Nora! Are you at the store? Oh, there she is. Give. For me? Oh, goodness, it's my birthday, isn't it? Holt is always leaving me presents, so I didn't put it together. Thank you, Chi. You're welcome. Yay! Request for a rice ball. They want an onigiri. I don't think I have a recipe for that. Can I buy a recipe for that? Let's check at the inn. Oh, they just have one here. Let's see if they have the recipe, though, because I'll buy it. Apple pie, red snapper, mushroom, potato. Nope. Maybe we should check at the, no, they only have sweet stuff at the market. Alright, I'll just buy this for the quest for now. And then maybe eventually I'll get the recipe. Unless I already have the recipe. Let's check. There's a chance I have... No, I don't. It would be in snacks. There's a chance I have the recipe, but I can't make it yet. Yeah, okay. Who was that for? I need to find a caterpillar, too. Oh, it's one of the shop ladies on Saturday Market. Alright. Well, we'll hold on to it. Yay, more health! I need to find a caterpillar, too. I feel like I haven't seen one since summertime, or since springtime. It's a grasshopper. Maybe we'll find one while we're cutting down plants. Because we need more fiber. We have a lot of rocks we can break up too. The last time we played, I chopped down a bunch of grass in the bottom right corner, and there was like 10 cicadas down there. It was really crazy. A grasshopper. Also, the Fields of Mistria update is coming out in like a week and a half. I think it said the 23rd. Tree. I think I'm gonna on fiber for now. I need more wood. Like a lot more wood. We need so much wood. Chopping. Still haven't seen a caterpillar. I wonder if they're a spring only bug. You wouldn't think so, because there's like certain ones you see in the fall and stuff. Like the, what are they called? The woolly caterpillars, the black and brown ones. You see those ones in the fall, and then depending on how much black or brown they have, tells you how harsh the winter's gonna be, supposedly. It's like a old wives' tale or whatever. Oh, there's like a firebug. A daisy. We still check the woolly bears every fall around here? Yeah. I always see a couple hanging out in my yard. Man, we're not gonna get to 300 very easily this time. I'm gonna have to go around and like cut down trees around town. But it'll be really cool if we get access to the other side of the beach. Yeah, that's like all the wood on the farm. Oh, here's some. Oh no, I'm sleepy. Eat. Crunch. Should probably go put the cows away. Chopping. Alright, moo cows. Time to go night night. Where is he? There he is. Alright, so what was that sound? I don't know what that noise was. All these grass everywhere. Alright. So we have enough fiber now. I think it was like 150 wood or stone. Yeah, 150. So $150, and we need 50 of these. And then we still need 300 wood. We still need 150-ish wood. That's gonna be a hard one. Meow. Thank you. Oh, I could have sold these flowers. I still can. I have time. I just don't need them. I have so many. Alright, we go Eebies. And it says it's gonna thunderstorm tomorrow, so we don't have to water, which is nice. You know what? We could go to the mines because if you break the boxes and stuff, it gives you wood. So maybe that would be a good way to get some wood without having to cut down all the trees all over town. Do 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 do. Meow. Good kitty. Alright, my inventory is good? Yeah. Alright, that stuff's water. Let's go pet the cows. Oh, thank you for the milk. I should start selling some of this. I'll give you a pet. And I give you a pet. You guys have hay you can eat, so go eat it. We're going to the mines. I'm gonna go there for the day. What is that? Lightning dragonfly. Oh, apparently I already caught one of those. Well, now it's just taking up space in my inventory. I don't want it to. Oh, I also should grab food, actually. I have a ton of food. Let me grab some food, too. Food. We'll take the summer salad. And let's also take... I don't know, what else should we take? This cake? No, I'm gonna save the cake. I'm gonna save the cake. I'm gonna sell this bug. I don't need him. Hi, Les. How are you? Are you excited for the Mistria update? It's coming. It's coming soon. Heck yeah! Heck yeah! Let's go! Is it the 26th? Wait, I thought it was the 23rd. Am I wrong? I know it's like a Monday. Thursday? Maybe it is a Thursday. Wait, I can't remember. I have to check the Steam post. I thought it was the 23rd. I might be wrong. I'm second guessing myself now. I suck at numbers. Me too. We're on a mission for some wood. I need stuff from the Tide Caverns too, so. Also, we still haven't, like, advanced in the mines much. What are you? Oh my gosh, I've never seen you before. Got him. I've never seen one of those bats before. Ow, he got me. Ow, he got me. Oh my gosh, this armor is helping so much though. He's only hitting me like 5. He used to hit me like 12. So that's good. Alright, closer. Ow! Ow! It hurts! Oh my gosh. What is a pain in my booty to collect in this game? Yeah. We're trying to fix the bridge at the beach. We got that story plot now. So... So I thought coming to the mines... Ah! There's so many bad guys! There's usually, like, wood you can Get. Ah! Come here, bat! Not gonna take that shit from you. Ow! I also need a title thingy. Get wrecked, sucker! Yeah! You cannot beat me. Wow, this is big. I've never seen this before. What is this? What is that? You see that? I'm scared! Isn't he the 23rd? Yay! He's trying to poke me, jerk. He's gonna try to poke me in my butt. That's not cool, bro. Can't be doing that shit. Mr. Butt Poke from Underground. He did. He wanted to poke my butt. Fucking weirdo. Consent is everything, chat. Mystery artifact. Let's go. It's been a while since we got one of those. We do need to go back to the copper ones eventually and get more mystery artifacts. Alright, we found the ladder, but I want to see where this 2B goes. Where are you taking me? Meow. Oh no! Stone boys! Ow! Got him! What are you? Little purple praying mantis guy. Oh, apparently I already got one of those. Alright, I'm just gonna take this iron and be on my way. Dang, it's already 5 p.m. We've only gone like 2 levels. This level is pretty big, to be fair. I wish I had more time to do fishing. I'm realizing that there's not a lot of barrels and stuff in the coral what's-evers. Come on, shoot me. Got him. I should probably eat. Dude, you're hitting the rock. Ow. 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 Jerk. Die already. Jeez, that was so hard for no reason. All I did was give me owies. It's not cool, bro. Alright, take this for some wood. Hey, ladder. Excellent. It's only 8, so there's still a little bit of time. I know, he gooped me. Got him. A statue with an altar. Make an offering. Whoa, she healed me. That's cool. She gave me more stamina. Ow, I got electrocuted. Got him. Wait, what is that? Harvest. Mind muscles. Cool. Alright. Wonder if I can make it one more level. I don't think I can, but I'm gonna try. Oh, she made me quick. Oh, this is a smaller level. That's good. And there's just a bat, so he'll be easy to deal with. Got him! Essence drop. A drip of magic, sometimes dropped by essence bats, used in a variety of crafting recipes. Nice. What's in this golden chest? Whoa! A chess piece. Dang, that's cool. Alright, there's still time to unlock a level. Sweet. Yeah, let me go down here and get this crate. Might have to go to the copper levels to get wood from the crates and stuff. There's not really much going on in these ones. Alright, we made it this far. That's good. We finally made it another 5 levels. It took forever. Alright, we gotta run home! Peaches! Oh no, my inventory is full. I'll come get them later. Run, run, run! I got distracted by peaches! Worry about selling off my loot tomorrow. Right now, I just gotta go eat. Oh, sleepy. Whoa, that's moving awfully slow. It's gonna take us a while. It's Maple's birthday. We gotta take this to the museum and this to the museum. Alright. Let's go here first. I don't know what these buttons do. Oh! Hey, that was pretty handy. Save this one. Glass isn't in here. I gotta take this to the museum too. So this and this and this gotta go to the museum. What did I do with... Oh, it wasn't here. Dang, we should go make some more iron stuff. Oh yeah, let's see about this, I'm gonna sell this bug. Alright. What's this? Whoops. Starlight Coral. There's gonna be ads starting. When the ad starts in 1 minute, I'm gonna take a quick little break. I need to go switch my laundry. Alright, let's check out this armor. Oh, I already have a copper. 2. What is this one? 3. Dang. You can now equip this cosmetic in the cosmetics menu. Oh, yeah, that's cool. So I guess I'll just sell this because I don't need it. Right? Ooh, we got melons. Nice. Dude, we're gonna make bank today. I'm gonna keep 3. I'm gonna keep 3 and need to water. Oops, did I already get my watering can? Oh, I did. I can harvest the sugar cane. 80 for sugar cane. I need to go see. Oh, I missed a couple of melons. They were hiding behind the sugar cane. And it's the 26th, so there's really no point in me buying more crops to plant. So I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, ads. I'm going to take a quick break, chat. I gotta go swatch the laundry and I'll be right back. All right, chat. I'm back. I just ran up and down a bunch of stairs. Whew. Well, okay. All right, what was I doing? Oh yeah, so I want to go see if I turn the sugarcane into sugar, if it'll make more money that way. I want to go check. So let's go find out. I think we go to the mill. Okay, sugar. So it does make more money. I'm gonna do... I want to keep one sugar cane. So we'll make 3 sugars. We'll sell 2 sugars. We'll keep 1 sugar and 1 sugar cane. Cool. So they are worth like 20 more gold, which is great. Request for coral. Okay. This requires us to go mining some more. Oh, we need a birthday gift for, what's her name? Alright, I'm gonna sell 2 of these. Keep 1 of each. Let's give her the candy strawberries. She probably like them. Alright. Alright, I need to go to the museum. Haircut. Haircut. Oh, thank you. Now me and Chad are cozy. There's a new one too, Les. If you go to Chat Uppies, they can still be redeemed one more time for today's stream. If you want to. If you want to see what happens the second time it's redeemed. Uppies, yeah. There he is. Look at him. He's hanging out up there. Uppies. He's so cute. Yeah, so that can be redeemed twice per stream. They'll stay for the entire stream. It's supposed to be random. So the first time will either be the head or the booba. And then the second time will be the other one. But it's supposed to be random, but so far it's done the booba twice first. Donate. Oh shoot, I did a bad. I always do that. I exit out before I hit this button. I only need one more thing. I need to find one of these again. It's an artifact, so I gotta dig it up. Okay. I got some peaches. How much are these worth if I eat them? Only 10 each. Alright. Alright, what was that little girl's name whose birthday it is? Maple. It's Maple's birthday. Why couldn't I think of her name? Alright, where's Maple at? Did they go down to the beach? No. Where are the kids at? They just walked through here not too long ago. Where's the kiddos? Where's my cat? I haven't unlocked the woods yet. Where'd they go? All the kids just disappeared? swear I just saw them. Am I crazy? I just saw them when I was in town earlier. Where did all the kids go? They got kidnapped. Nope, not here. Maybe at the inn? Nope, nobody's here. Where the heck are they? I seriously can't find them. There they are. I saw them. They're down here. Wait, where'd they go? Oh, they're in the inn now. Hello, Stonecrow. How are you? Welcome me in. There she is, Mabel. Give. You remembered my birthday. Thank you, Chi. I feel like a queen. Aw. Psst, Chi. Don't let anyone see you. The coast is clear. Now, before we tell you anything, you have to pinky swear you won't tell anyone. Dealing with a hangover? Oh no, that's the worst. Lots of water. Get a Gatorade. Take some ibuprofen. Eat a big greasy breakfast. Those are things that help me feel better when I'm hungover. We're planning a heist. Oh, Luke is the brains. Della's the brawn. I'm the face. Of course you are. And you're the courier, Chi. Oh no. And our target is Mr. Baller. His secrets, more precisely. Why does he always keep this door locked? Is it because we keep trying to go in there uninvited? We're gonna find out. Meet us here next week, Chi. Oh boy. These kids are getting me into trouble. Had a good amount of water and I'm slightly fine. That's good. If you can, try to eat something. I know sometimes it's hard to eat when you're hungover, but it really helps. Super helps. Look at them scrubbing them dishes. Making them all clean. Everyone's coming for Friday night at the inn. Yeah, I want to go to the mines, but there's not really time now. See what Balor's got going on over here. Ooh, silver. What is this? Chess piece scroll bundle. Maid skirt. What is this? Sushi platter. Ooh. Sushi. What is that? Nettle. A wild plant foraged in spring. Foraged in spring. Oh, I never foraged that. With an earthy taste similar to spinach, commonly used as a cooking ingredient. I need that for the museum. I think I'm just gonna buy this. Take it to the museum. Why not? Might as well. You did also eat? Oh, that's good. Well, I hope you feel better soon. Hangovers are the worst. Honestly, that's why I don't drink all that often anymore. So I can't handle the hangover afterwards. Oh, we gotta let the cows out. Come here, cows. There's still time. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Nice. We're so close. I'm sorry I don't have a treat to give you. Oh, I wanted to check if they ate the hay. I didn't check. I forgot. These little firebugs are supposed to be like a rare bug, but I see them everywhere. Meanwhile, I can't find a stupid caterpillar to save my life. Ooh, look at all the fishes. Let's get some fishing. Fishing. Squid. Squiddy. We'll do some fishing, then we'll go to the museum, and then we'll go to check out Friday Night at the Inn. Crab. And then I really gotta figure out the wood situation because, man, we still need a ton of wood. So we can fix the bridge. I'm trying to not chop down all the trees all over town, but I might have to. Might not have a choice. Oh, I did need that. The mushroom will have to wait. Maybe he'll have a mushroom at some point. That would be cool. We need to do this too. How many ingots do I have now? I have 10. All right. What should we upgrade? Probably our sword and our pickaxe we should do first. That's what we did first last time. Yeah, let's do it. Skill up. And sword. Cool. See if anyone's still at the inn. It's getting kind of late. I don't know what time they all leave. Oh, they're all still here. All the artifacts seem to keep turning up around Hayden's farm. They're characterized by their geometry and a blue patina. Oh. You mean like this one? You come across an ancient Eldarian castle. The architecture rises up before you. Great swooping buttresses, I don't know what that says. Is there anything to zap? Well, I suppose the king comes out to greet you, but I zap the king. Oh, look at that. I got a high roll. Daffodilia watches in abject horror, but doesn't stop her friend. The wizard Moonsilver zaps the king. Is it my turn? I was about to get a drink. Snugglefritz steals his crown and his shoes. I'm sure that will fetch a nice sum of fake coin in this game of pretend. Bad Brad, the bearded bard, begins composing a ballad for the fallen king. I'll begin with verse 1 of 17. Oh, okay. With his dying breath, the king has cast a spell of silence on you, Brad. That's funny. Oh, Chi, you've arrived just in time for the show. Juniper, I bought you some wine as a thank you for last time. Please, it's for you. This is the most expensive bottle they keep behind the bar. Not even on the menu. Oh, did I not mention? My father was a bit of a sommelier. We used to have this vintage with dinner. You did not mention that. Oh, how funny. Well, this is a dry wine, and it's aged in oak, so the taste is pleasantly full-bodied. I love dragons and drama so much, right? The D&D at Friday night at the end is one of my favorite things, right? You might miss the sweetness, though. I've heard you have a bit of a sweet tooth. One of those childish quirks that makes you so charming. Go on, give it a try. It's delicious. Thank you so much. This is so generous. Oh, my pleasure. I'll bet. Look at those two, getting along so well. Bonding over a nice drink. That's what life's all about, if you ask me. Chi, do you think Juniper will let me try it? Maybe you can ask for me. Well, probably not. What are you guys talking about? Ulrich's 4 of a kind was beginner's luck. This time the pot is mine. I didn't mind. He did treat us all to another round. Hit me! Don't think you can hide your reaction from me, Errol. I know all your tells. The problem both of you have is that your little rivalry blinds you to the rest of the table. Isn't that right, Reese? I wouldn't know about that, Miss Terithia. I just like dealing and doing card tricks. Watch this. Whoa, nice moves, bro. By the way, is this a full house? All their reactions. That's funny. That's funny. Can we talk to everybody? The inn is so full. This is what I call a successful night. Thanks for coming by and being a part of it, Chi. You're welcome, Raina. Alright, I think I talked to everybody. Time to go night-night. At least I actually remembered to go this time. I usually forget about Friday night at the inn. Alright, I'm going to sell this and this. And this. Yeah, I'll sell these peaches too. I don't need them. And now we have these. Actually, I should put them right by each other because, yeah. That makes more sense. Oh, thank you, kitty. Such a good kitty. Here, go to bed. Go bed, kitty. Alright, guys, I'm gonna open my soda. You ready for some soda ASMR? There you go. Oh, you know what? Let me turn my game sound back up. I had it turned down for Yap Yap the other day because it was really loud. Saturday market. We can give that girl her onigiri that she wanted. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Meow. Meow. It's so cute. Oh, actually, I think this is just a flower, right? Crafting, yeah. Oh. I forgot the onigiri. I need that. Flower. We did get one more. Let's go. Tomorrow's the last day. It did take 3 days. So I'm not gonna bother watering because they won't grow anyway. We'll just sell off some and we will put these in here. And I'm gonna grab a plate. Oh, not a kitty. I didn't mean to grab a kitty. We'll grab some food. Herb salad. Oh no, I forgot to put the cows away. Oh no. I'm sorry. I forgot. I forgot you guys stayed out all night. My bad. I love you. I love you so much. Also, if you're not in here overnight, you don't drop stuff probably. Oh, I wonder if I have to be holding it. I might put them inside for the day. They like being outside though. Yeah, I'll leave them outside. You can stay out here and eat. Love you, cow. I'm sorry you got left outside. I'm a bad cow owner. Oh, we gotta go to the market. First market, then mines. Hey, give that girl her onigiri. Onigiri. I don't remember her name. I just know what she looks like. I think she's the girl that does the fashion. Yeah, the fashion stand. Turn in request. Turn in. Thanks for the rice ball, Chi. Sometimes you just want a quick bite, you know? Yeah. Here you go. Let's see what's on the board now. A birdhouse? Well, I think I just go craft one, right? No, you know what? You're gonna have to wait till after the bridge, because I need that wood. I don't think I really need copper anymore, but we're gonna go to the copper mines because I mostly just want to break boxes and get wood, honestly. Because I'm trying real hard to not have to cut all the trees down around town. But I might have to. Might not have a choice. But there's a lot more boxes and stuff around on these floors. Than there is on the other floors. Come on, ladder. A mimic. Gotta give him some stone or something, right? Hey, I did it! Ow! Jerk, you electrocuted me. There's no boxes on this floor. Dang it. My plan is not working. At least breaking rocks is a lot faster now with my new iron pickaxe. Oh, can I also like... Yeah, that's cool. Ow! Jerk. Dang it, I'm too close. Rock clod hat! Cute. More barrels. Not a lot of barrels here either. See if I stand here. Yeah. It's a pretty handy trick. No wood. They're just not giving me wood anymore. Got him. Sucker. Two. Got him. Oh no, my inventory's full. Let's just eat this. And also this can go away. There we go. Got him. There's a bunch. Oh, that was lucky. That was lucky. Oh, fish. I haven't done a whole lot of like fishing in the mines. Well, that was kind of a bust. I only got 9 wood from all that. So I guess that's not a good way to get wood. I thought it would be. I already have them all. One more. We're almost there. Ooh. My inventory is full. I have a ton of copper now, and I can finally upgrade my net. I could also make some more armor. Because I still need a couple pieces of armor. I don't know if there's differences in the fish between morning and nighttime. I feel like I haven't really noticed a difference. Oh, I have a recipe? A minecart. That's cute. I didn't even know I had that. Wait, cows! Put the cows away. Don't let them sleep outside again. That's mean. Alright, I guess tomorrow we'll go around town cutting down... chopping down, stuff. Chopping down the trees in town. Because I still need a bunch of wood. We have a shit ton of money though. Look how much money we have. We have like almost 9,000 in gold. Last day of summer! It's almost fall! Shooting Star Festival? What's that? Cool. Oh. Huh, good morning, Chi. I was just on my way over to tell you about tonight's Shooting Star Festival. It's a Mysterian tradition going back centuries, you know. The villagers gather around town with family and friends every year to watch the meteor shower that marks the end of summer. Better yet, viewing them with a romantic partner on the summit makes an ideal date. It's said that doing so will link your destinies together, just like the stars themselves. What do you think, Chi? Is there someone special you want to watch the stars with? We don't have anyone special yet. It's too soon. It's too soon, Elsie! We just got here! We barely know anyone! It's only been 2 months! Of course, dear. There's no pressure to choose a date if you're not interested. Forget I mentioned it. You can enjoy the evening however you see fit. If you like a great view of the stars, you can head to the summit from 8 p.m. onward. Alright. Well, I'd better let you get back to your morning. See you later. Goodbye! Alright, 8 p.m. We gotta go to the summit. Tonight is the Shooting Star Festival. Since you're new to town, I thought you might not know how to make the traditional decorations yet. You don't necessarily need them in order to celebrate, but I think every Mysterian should have a set. Ooh, thank you. Ooh. Wait, what is this? Beaded brooch resembling the stars, traditionally used to invite another to Mystria's Shooting Star Festival. Oh. That's cute. Should we invite someone? I don't know what to do. We don't really know anyone that well still. The only person I could think I'd want to invite is Hayden. You guys, oh, you're so close. You're so close. Alright, I guess let's invite Hayden and see what happens. What the worst that'll happen is he says no, right? It's gonna be another blue artifact. Oh, clay. Invite to festival. Is that a starboat you've got there? I believe these are used to invite someone you're close with to watch the stars. Oh. I guess he's not interested. Let's talk. Chii, you're up so early. That's the farmer spirit. Okay. Well, we just got rejected by Hayden. I'm gonna go cry now. He was just like, oh, that's what that's for. I'm like, oh, thanks. All right, cool. No. I can't believe you just left me hanging like that. I mean, it's fair. We're not really close to anybody yet. Oh, this is a romantic gift, by the way, Chii. You're up so early. What a good farmer. Right? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Hayden. Thanks. Love you too, bro. Alright, let's go waste some of our copper. You know what? Before we do that, let me grab some food. Let's grab crunchy water chestnuts, 40. Baked potatoes are 30. I'll take these. Alright, then we're gonna go do some blacksmithing. Oh, fish. What is this? Cute. I wish I could sit on it. What is this? Can't interact with it. Okay. I don't see the decoration she gave me. The Shooting Star Festival is today. No way. Excuse me. Sure, now you got tomato soup. Candied lemon peel. Rose hip jam. Wildberry scone. I need to remember to check recipes. Crawfish etouffee. Sweet potato pie. What is this? Apple pie. Potato soup. Red cheese. Baked potato. Baked tater. Crab cakes. Cherry tart. Apple pie. Sweet potato pie. Deluxe curry. Nice. I just can't decide when I should spend money on recipes. Pudding? Alright. I don't know how to make that yet. What recipes do they sell at the general store again? I forgot. Oh, there's another bag upgrade? It's only 2K? Alright, bet. Hell yeah. Let's go. Ingredients. Unlock craft recipes for the winter crop sign furniture. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Wait, okay, that's actually cute. I didn't know those were in here. This is the mods. I have a poofy bunny tail. No, I don't need a tail. I don't have a tail. Alright, what can I do with this fish? It's in my way. Cat treat. Yeah. Oh, that was the wrong fish. What What is this fish? Oh, it's a sweet fish. Oh, I can't make anything with that. Oh, I was gonna chop trees down. That's what I was gonna do today. That's right. Alright. Alright, let's do our bug net, because I've never upgraded it yet. And okay. Let's do pants. Pants. We're gonna be all armored up. Because I get hurt easily. Alright. We'll put these on. Alright, and now we just gotta go around and cut down some trees. Hopefully the ones around town, like, grow back. I would assume they do, right? There's a dick spot up there. Oh. Maybe we go out of town this way. I'll go over here and cut trees down. We're really close to being able to fix the bridge. We just need the wood. Then we can fix the beach bridge and move on in the story. I'm also convinced there's just no caterpillars. In summer. Because I haven't seen any. But I had that request for one. Oh, look at all the inventory space we have now. It's crazy. I'm gonna move this up here so I can see it. Hi, kitty. Oh, I can't pet you while you're busy working, huh? Okay. Wish I could just like jump down there. That would be cool. I wonder what the deal is with this tree stump. in these like ruins. I'm assuming they'll come in the story at some point. It's 8 o'clock. Dang, I need a lot more wood still, though. Ooh, pears. Jeez, I couldn't think of what they were called. I was gonna say peaches, and I was like, nope, that's not right. Them's pears. Them's definitely pears. Potatoes. I still need like 50 more wood. We'll head towards the summit and cut stuff down as we go. Aw, they look cute. Look at them up there. They look so cute. I'm gonna run out of time. The stars are so beautiful. It's like the sky is a garden in bloom. Got a heart with her. Well, now, aren't those stars something? This really takes me back. Indeed, I recall how I used to rush out of the mines just in time to catch the show. Remember the time we watched them from the boat? The stars doubled in the water. I'll never forget it. Aww. Alright, we gotta rush to the summit. It's getting late, we're gonna miss it. We can't miss it the first time! Oh man. Wait, I'm lost. Wait, which way is it? It's this way. Right? Yeah. Probably gonna end up passed out. Yes. Ooh, pretty! And the music kind of changed just in time, too. That's funny. Whoa! Better head home. Okay. Oh, it automatically took me home? Nice. First day of fall, and it's Valen's birthday. Valen is the doctor, right? What's she like? Maybe she would like some herbs. Whoa, double gifts. Nice. Good job, kitty. Let's give you this treat, too. I got you this treat. Here. Oh, thank you. Sage is good. We'll take her some sage. Actually, let's do this first. Oh my gosh, look at it! This time I want to take some time to arrange my crop area a little too. I'm gonna sell these pants. I'm sorry. I was at the festival. Don't be mad. Oh, she was behind the barn. So you guys have this rock in here. Let me get that for you. There's also a tree thing. Or a branch. Here we go. Check and see if there's any tree litter around the farm that's developed now that it's fall. That's right, there's new bugs. Ooh, a tiger swallowtail butterfly. Nice. Fall is so pretty. I love the way everything looks. It's like pretty and orange, like an orangey color. We're gonna have new fish too. Get all these branches. Whoa! Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. Also, there's gonna be ads starting in about 40 seconds. All right. I have enough wood now. Here's my shovel. I don't have a hoe either. I forgot I haven't upgraded my hoe yet. So I should have done that before my bug net. I saw my old bug net. Ads! I'm gonna take a little break during ads, guys. We're back, chat. I've returned with snackies. Oh. I put the wrong net in the sail thing. Alright. So... Oh. I'm gonna fix this. Whoops. So it's a little more organized this season. And we'll do... I'm gonna pick up this and this. We'll get rid of this grass and stuff. Boy, this is costing a lot of energy. Alright, and then oh shoot. Now I actually do stuff like that. It costs me even more energy. Whoops. Alright. Now, I'm gonna eat this cake because I need more energy. I guess I'll leave that for now in case I need to make it bigger. Take this. Take this. Get this fence. Alright, let's go buy some crops. See what we're working with first. What is that? Chestnuts. Nice. There's a flower. Heather. A caterpillar! Where'd my net go? Oh, it's an inchworm. Damn it. It's not a caterpillar. I need a caterpillar. Request for sweet potato. That must be one of the crops we're gonna grow. Alright, let's see what we got. Sweet potatoes. Broccoli. Cranberries, we already have some. Pumpkin. Wheat. rice. Onions. And then the flowers. There's only 2 flowers this time. Apples and oranges. Alright. We need 1,000 gold for the bridge. So wheat regrows. Rice regrows. Onions regrow. And cranberries regrow. Dang. So that's 4. Alright, so let's do... I already have some cranberries. I just can't remember how many I have. I need to go look. Let's go look real quick. I don't want to buy some if I have some already, you know? Are you a new kind of bug? Where are you? Nope, same grasshopper. And I think I'm going to make a patch somewhere else for flowers. What is that? Walking leaf. A leaf bug. Alright. I have 4. So 5, 6, 7. I need 5. I can't believe I just had to count that out. That was stupid. So I only need 5 cranberries. Dang, it's already 8 p.m. and I haven't even planted my crops yet. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's already 1,500 bucks. Dang. $5 days. 9 days. Okay. Let's get the longer ones. 9 days. No. Yes. Damn. So much. And then we get some of the cheaper ones. Let's do that for now. We'll come back for more later. After we make some more money. Alright, let me grab my cranberries. Alright. And then the rice can go here. And then we got sweet potatoes and broccoli. Oh, I still have to give Valen her gift too. do a quick water. And then I should have time to go find Valen and give her a Christmas gift. Let's go! Rice seed. Sweet potato seed. Nice. I'm actually gonna save these and not plant them. We can save them for next year. Well, the sweet potatoes will probably grow more this season still, but... Alright, let's find Valen. I'm gonna say, I'm assuming she's probably here. She's not, she's at the office. Let's go. Hi, Valen. Gift. A birthday gift? That's unnecessary, Chi. And that's why it's so appreciated. Thank you. Aw. You're welcome. Happy friggin' birthday. Alright, we got our... At least we got our farm plot a little more organized today. And we discovered some more things. That's gotta go. You know, you can go. Marcel. One of you. You guys all gotta go to the thing. Alright. If you go to the museum. Oh, another one, thank you. Oh crap, the cows. Damn it. I keep forgetting about the stupid cows. They're gonna hate me. My cows will never love me. I really need them to get to 2 hearts so that I can breed them. No cows, I know, I'm sorry. Please don't be mad. I love you. I love you. Don't be angry. Oh, there's a milk in here. Oh, I do have some hay in here. Look at me being smart. I just want to refill it so that if it's a rainy day, I don't forget. Okay. Excuse me, cow. You're blocking the way. Meh. Do you mind? Get out of the way! There we go. I was able to go around. Well, game over. Yep, trapped by cow. Hi, Giga. How are you today? Yes, cranberries. Let's go. Shoot. Just resting for the most part? That's good. Chilling with this here game. Alright, this. And cranberry seeds. Alright. And then, let me finish putting this stuff back. Let's do that. Now let's go along this side. I think I'll go out like this. Oh, thank you for headbats. Perfect buff walk, still working at it. Let's go. It's killing the game. Alright, put those back. I want to put this stuff back out. This can go in here for now. Alright, Scarecrow. You will go... I don't want to put you right in the way, but I'll put you here. And then I got my fighting dummy. I think I'll put him over here somewhere, actually. There you go. And then I got this here light. And I'll put this at the back. There you go. Alright, and then I need to go to the museum. And we can do some fall foraging on the way. Bye, cows. Be good. Technically Buffwalk Jr. because OG Buffwalk, that's true. Oh no, oh, I didn't even take that stuff to the beach. It's a lot like Stardew, yeah. There's just a few different things. There's the added of bug catching. Stardew doesn't have bug catching. There's also a little bit more lore and there's more story questing. And yeah, there's like a few things that are different. There's some quality of life stuff this game has that I wish Stardew had. Crafting. Alright. We gotta take this to the beach. But yeah, essentially it's very similar. Oh look, another blue pot. I'm gonna go to the museum first. And then we will go to the beach. I'm gonna put this stuff down here. I'm hoping we'll see some other new stuff along the way. What is that? That's a new stuff. A rare fruit foraged in fall. It has a sweet floral flavor and is commonly used as a cooking ingredient. What are these? Blackberries. Nice. Bug. New grasshopper. Leaf hopper. Let's go. There's probably all kinds of new fish and stuff too. I'm just kind of looking around for any new forageable things. Because we'll also need those for the museum. Ooh, mystery artifact. Aldarian gauntlet. Nice. Oh, those are more of those pink flowers. I already have those. Some more chestnuts. Alright, on the museum. Just dig up stuff randomly. Yeah, it's a... apparently there's a lot of like archaeology, you know? All this stuff to donate. Fall flower set. Foraging. I still need one more. I bet you that doesn't show up till winter time. Look, we're over 50% complete with the insects. I have to get this spring one that we missed. There's one more rare insect. One more grass one. The beach ones, I haven't found any new ones yet. We still haven't gone all the way through the tide caverns, so... And then the legendary ones. Oh, and then the rare set too. There's one missing still. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Alright, we're gonna go to the beach. And fix the bridge. And then, it should move us on to the next storyline thing after that, I think. I do believe. Ooh, flower. Let's take that to the museum. All right. Now we just have to go... We just have to find Tirithia. And give her the $1,000. And she's happens to be right here. Let's go! Tirithia! I need to give you money. Turn in. We're ready to start on the beach bridge? Great. Let's grab Adeline and head to the build site. All right. How'd they get over there? Yay, bridge. Wow, you two. Stone pillars, wooden slats, and rope to tie it all together. Easy to replace if anything starts to wear out. You're a rabbit, you jumped. Touché. You can jump in this game, but I can't jump that far. And flexible enough to ride through an earthquake. I'll say. I'll pass on the good word to the rest of the town. Woo! Now we can go over here and catch this bug that we already have in the museum. Now there's more foraging. What is this? Horseradish. Yum. Now we can come out here and get all these fish. Clear water fills the fountain. Drink some? Okay. More stamina. Alright, I guess we should... Let's do some fishing since we're here. Look at all the fish. I don't know where to start. A sardine. Hey, come back, fish. I want to catch you. A jellyfish? And it's not even a museum fish. What the heck? That's crazy. They swam away. Come back, fishes. I want to catch you. I finally make it over here and all the fish are swimming away. Those jerks. An artifact. Rusty treasure chest. Nice. Come here, Fitchy Fitchy. Aw. Fiber. That's just silly. See if there's anything to forage on the beach. Grasshopper. Seashell. Is that a new bug? Please be a new beach bug. Damn it. Stupid surf beetles. I haven't been able to get any new beach bugs. It's always the same ones. Bone shards. Excuse me! Ooh, there's a fishing spot. I don't think I can reach though. Nope. It's too far away. Too far away! I know! To the museum! This is the fun part of the beginning of the season, is all the new stuff that you can donate to the museum right away. We're gonna go home the long way this way. See if we find any more stuff. It looks like a regular moth, but just in cases. Yeah. There's a request on the board. A ruby? I actually have some I can bring you. I'll bring in one tomorrow. Who are you? Cicada nymph. It's a baby cicada. Wow. Alright, we gotta let the cows in. Inchworm. Damn it. Alright. Send inside. I remembered. Don't hate me. I love you. I'm gonna keep one jellyfish. I guess I'll keep a sardine in case someone wants it. You gotta go to the museum. You I can sell, you I can sell. I guess I'll keep the shell too in case someone wants one. I just don't know what people will want, you know? Ooh, you brought me double whammy. Oh, I forgot I can sell this surf beetle. And I'll keep this stuff for food things, probably. Alright. Go sleep. Ba-ding. Oh, it's just another one of those leaf bugs. Ooh, sweet potato. It's crazy how much this is now doing the random give you back, because I feel like it hasn't done it really since till now. It's one of the perks, farming perks I have. It just doesn't kick in very often. Let's go let the cows out and pet them. Hi, cows. Alright, how are we doing? You guys can have cow babies now. Alright, we will call them outside. And I got the treats right here. You guys are gonna make a cow baby. Yeah, you will. You guys are gonna make a little cow baby. I wonder if it just happens overnight. I'm assuming. I like how they're all sparkly. That's cute. Alright, let's look at our quests. A pudding. Oh crap, I should have checked the market on Saturday for a pudding or a pudding recipe. Dang it. I didn't even think about it. Didn't even think about it. Is that just a regular old butterfly? Yep. Everybody's outfits changed again for the season. Love that. Alright, let's go see what's over here. Apples! We need to plant an apple tree. I already have one of these, but... And one of these. And some of these. Mysterious looking well. Oh, I forgot about this. I don't think I've done 500 yet. Let's do it. Ooh, I got a recipe? Berry bowl. Cute. New flower. Viola. It's pretty. Berries. We can harvest some cattail fluff, but that's not new. What are these? Garlic. Ooh, nice. Still don't know what's up with this stump. I already have one of those snails. Another flower. Sure. Woo. Stairs to the deep woods are covered in giant, impassable vines. There's some fish. Maybe we should do a little fishing off this bridge. See if I catch anything. A lamprey. That snail is zooming. A razorback. Smallmouth bass. Here, fishy, 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 fishy. Sturgeon. I gotta go down a level to get that fish. Alright, what do I need to make that birdhouse? I can make a birdhouse for someone. Oh, I have everything I need. Okay. I was gonna do it earlier, but I was worried about making sure I had enough wood for the bridge fix. Yeah, no? Alright, who wanted the birdhouse? Valen. Where's she at? She is at her place of business. Did you make this birdhouse yourself, Chi? Color me impressed. Now I just need to pick the right spot to place it and hope the birds arrive. How's the clinic, Valen? Nice and quiet, which means people in town are well, so I don't mind it at all. Aw. Except her, apparently. She's in the bed. Except for you, Nora. You seem to be sick. What are you guys doing? That evening of Dragons and Drama was more gripping than I expected. Enough for me to forget about work. I'm looking forward to the next time. Aw. Red toadstool. I got one of those. Alright, oh, I need to go do those other requests too that I found. So... Balor's right there. I hope he stays there. Stay right there, Balor. I'll be right back with your ruby. Sell apple. Sell one of these. Sell one of these. Sell an apple. Keep an apple. Take an apple to the yeah, museum. I'm gonna keep a garlic because I'm sure I can cook with it. These can all go in here. Alright. Oh. So I needed a ruby and a mushroom. One of these. Was it just one? Yeah, just one. Okay. I'm gonna put the cows away now before I forget. Let me have one of you. What else can I sell? Sturgeon. Bass. Alright. Tyler, you still at your cart? Damn it, he's gone. Oh, they're all at the end. Is it Friday? No, it's Wednesday. Turn in request. Never let me down, Chi. This is exactly the kind of ruby my customer is looking for. Here's your cut of the deal, as promised. You're welcome. Alright, and then... the bath lady wants... yeah, it says that she's also here. I don't see her. I didn't see her. There she is. Turn in request. Excellent, Chi. This red toadstool is exactly what I need to get the poison level. Well, anyway, here's your reward. Bye now. That's how she laughs. Yeah, we're gonna swing by the museum one more time today. So much stuff. Just gotta find those flowers. Gotta forage one more thing. And we already only need one more bug. It's probably a moth of some kind. I actually think I saw one, but I didn't catch it. Oh, that's the other forageable I need. Nope, it's not. Dang it. I thought it was gonna be the stick thing I needed. The stick looking thing. Let's go see what's over here in the archaeology thing. That's a regular moth. Lots of chestnuts. Nothing exciting. Let's go up here and see. Nothing. Another bug. Pretty sure I'm looking for a moth. There's also that last forageable thing. There's also a chance that the cat will bring it to me. Oops. My gosh, this is great having all this inventory space now. Dive spot. I haven't seen one of those in a minute. Fish. Oh no, I didn't realize how late it was. Whoops. Dang. What's up, babe? Why are you hitting me? What's up, babe? You just kissed me like a fish. Oh, it's Landon's birthday. Oh no, I overslept. Good thing it's raining and I don't have to water. Thanks, kitty. You're a good kitty. Oh. I don't know if I really need this many of these, but I have them. Ooh, you're looking cute. Apple juice. We've hit a snag on replenishing our food reserves. Can you meet with Hayden, Raina, and me at Hayden's farm? Add a line. Sure thing. I gotta go pet my cows first and see if they made a baby. No. How does it work? Let me do a quick Google. Fields of... Oh yeah, the wiki. Reading. Giving parents respective heart-shaped treats. These treats can be bought from Hayden's shop. Once the animals are given treats, a stork symbol will appear next to their statuses in the animal menu. This indicates that breeding was successful. After 4 in-game days, the mother will then give birth to the offspring. Oh, wait. Breeding was successful. There's a little stork. Okay, cool. So now we gotta wait a few more days. Got it. Cool. Well, let me learn this recipe. I also forgot to sell my milk. Alright, let's go meet at Hayden's farm. That's just another leaf bug. Chi, welcome! We've been discussing preparing long-lasting rations to fill up the remainder of the town's food reserves. It's a tall order. Her outfit is so cute! I'm happy to help with cooking, but I need the ingredients. The inn has been positively bustling now that the earthquake damage is repaired. We can't have our regulars go hungry. You know, I'll give as much as I can spare for the town, Adeline. But I'm afraid my flock and herd are already at capacity. I don't think we can cover your whole request. I've been meaning to expand the barn and get more animals, but, well... Just tell me how I can help. That's what I like to hear. Raina, you said you need another 10 cheeses for your recipe, right? If you haven't already made cheese, the mill should come in handy. Just get some fresh milk from your cows, bring it to the mill, and before you know it, you have as much cheeses as you can carry. And how many eggs does the recipe call for again? 12 eggs will let me mix up enough to keep the whole town fed. And I've been experimenting with the recipe. These will be the best tasting rations in all Daria. Well now, maybe make a few extra for us hard-working volunteers. Of course! I'll set up the donation box. Would outside the inn work, Raina? Sure would. And to sweeten the pot, how about I throw in some cosmetics for your hard-working chickens and cows as a reward, Chi? I don't have any chickens yet! Alright, well. Let me go get that milk out of the sale bin. I need to make cheese! I also need to figure out buying a coop. Why is that rock right there? Get off my farm, bitch! Can't be spawning no rock in my farm. Alright, to the mill. Ooh, rewards. What is this? Oh, it's like a map. Mistria wall map. Request for a pike? Okay. I think I just put one of those in my sale bin too. I also think I have like 2 or 3 cheeses already. I think I have 2, so now I have 4. Because it takes 2 milk to make a cheese, which is kind of crazy. Welcome back. Did you get everything all sorted? An ad is going to be starting in about 1 minute, you guys. Nothing changed. Oh, shit. Well, fuck. That's not where I want to go. I gotta go inside. Menu. Alright, so for a coop. 75 wood, 50 stone, and 1,500 bucks. I think I actually have all of this. I'm gonna buy it. It's a lot of money, but Nothing changed, huh? That's shitty. I'm sorry. Oh no, that's just another horseradish. Damn it. I need that other forageable thing I can't find. Oh, excuse me. Can I hang this map up? Oh my god, it's gigantic. Can I move my fireplace? I sure can. If I move that here, can I hang this on the wall now? Why not? That's silly. Okay, what if I... Oh, I didn't mean to move my window. Let's put my window here. Actually, no. I want to put my window back. There we go. I want it to go here. And then I want to move this here. And then I'll put this here. Yeah, there we go. Now we're organized. Okay. Cheese. Add cheese somewhere. Cheese. So I need cheese and I'll need eggs, but I don't have a coop yet. Ads came and went. Alright, chicken coop. Yeah, I kinda wish I hadn't planted my trees here now. I'm gonna put the chicken coop down here. I want the ducks to be able to... Because you can get ducks with the chicken coop. I'm sitting here and lurking, digging a big hole in Minecraft. Let's go. I want the ducks to be able to swim in the water, so I kind of want to build the chicken coop near water. Does that make sense? Chillipede. So I think I want to put the chicken coop down here. I don't have enough wood. Frick. It's always the wood. I have the stone though. Let me see how much wood it is. I have an abundance of stone. 75 wood. I have to go around town and cut down trees again. So much wood. Asleep. Oh. Friday night at the inn again. What is this? An image forms in the crystal ball. Tomorrow's weather will be breezy with falling leaves in the air. Ooh, fancy. Look at our crops. So good. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, guys. I think I'm actually going to leave it here so that we build the chicken coop next stream. Cozy and chill? Yeah, we love that. I'll probably be on Minecraft later. I'm trying to design my next build. It's not going well, I'll be honest. I'm kind of running into some builder's block. I want to build a cute, like, Japanese bathhouse that's dystopian looking on the hill next to my house. And I'm trying to design it, but it's not working. Like, I have a couple of good ideas, but then when I start building them, I don't like them. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. I need to finish my... I also need to finish my, cliff. God, I hate the blocking. I know, it's the worst. Alright, guys. We are gonna raid Goblingus. Whoops, I didn't mean to... Hold on. Goblingus is doing art. He draws monsters. They're kind of cool. He's really high energy, cool guy. So we're gonna go raid him. If you're a subby, you're gonna use the first raid call. Whoops, I did the wrong one. There we go. If you're not a subby, you're gonna use the Nemo Pop raid call. And it's got our new community name, Sector 313. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you guys all for hanging out. It was a fun, chill stream today. I really liked it. Thanks for all the love and support today. Go spread love and support over to Goblingus. He's pretty cool. It's a new mutual. You have a great day too. Make sure you stick around for the raid. Everyone come on the raid. And I'll catch you guys Tuesday. I might try to do some bonus streams this week because I'm going to be off work again this week. I know I said I was going to do that last week. I never did. But I think I'm going to really try to do it this week. I swear. I swear. I swear. But I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Love you. Get the fuck out. Goodbye.